respect, the rule of law, just plain, simple decency, the renewal of a politics that's about solving problems, looking out for one another, not stoking the flames of hate and chaos. As I said, America's about honor, decency, respect, tolerance. That's who we are. That's who we've always been. The certification of the Electoral College vote is supposed to be a sacred ritual to affirm, the purpose is to affirm the majesty of American democracy. But today's reminder, a painful one, that democracy is fragile, and to preserve it requires people of goodwill, leaders of the courage to stand up, who are devoted not to the pursuit of power, or the personal interest pursuits of their own selfish interest at any cost, but of the common good. Think what our children watching television are thinking. Think what the rest of the world is looking at. For nearly 2.5 centuries, we, the people, in search of a more perfect union, have kept our eyes on that common good. America is so much better than what we've seen today. Watching the scenes from the Capitol, I was reminded, as I prepared other speeches in the past, I was reminded of the words of Abraham Lincoln in his annual message to Congress, whose work has today been interrupted by chaos. Here's what Lincoln said. He said, "We shall nobly save or merely lose the last best hope on earth." Went on to say, "The way is plain, peaceful, generous, just, a way which, if followed, the world will forever applaud, and God must forever bless." The way is plain here, too. That's who we are. It's the way of democracy, of respect, of decency, of honor, and commitment as patriots to this nation. Notwithstanding what I saw today and we're seeing today, I remain optimistic about the incredible opportunities. There's never been anything we can't do when we do it together. And this god-awful display today is bringing home to every Republican and Democrat and Independent in the nation. Us. This is the United States of America. There's never, ever, 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 ever been a thing we've tried to do that we've done it together, we've not been able to do it. So President Trump, step up. May God bless America. May God protect our troops and all those folks at the Capitol who are trying to preserve order. Thank you, and I'm sorry to have kept you waiting.
Live from Wilmington, Delaware, President-elect Biden.
Joe Biden speaking to the American public in the wake of extraordinary circumstances that are taking place on the U.S. Capitol this afternoon. Now calling on President Trump, as he put it, to step up and put an end to this. Saying basically that this is not dissent, what we have been seeing and witnessing all afternoon. This is disorder. This afternoon, we want to bring in Congressman Adriano Espaillat, who is joining me live on the 1010 Wins hotline. First of all, Congressman, are you safe? Where are you? And give us the perspective from where you are, sir. Congressman Espaillat, are you there? Okay, apparently we're not able to raise him right now. We'll try him a bit later there. As you've been watching, so many scenes that are coming in, very disturbing, that are taking place right now, coming from the Capitol right now. We're understanding that the D.C. National Guard has been called in to join the D.C. Metro Police and other agencies from around that particular area, trying to keep order, trying to restore order at least, as thousands of supporters of President Trump have converged on the Capitol to protest and stop the Electoral College confirmation naming Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. Congressman Adriano Aspea, are you there, sir? Okay, he's not there as yet. What we'll do is go back to ABC's live coverage of what's taking place there in Washington.
In thinking about the ways that this is and is not being addressed by the current administration, we're seeing some calls by Democrats to impeach the president. That could still happen with just 2 weeks left. There's, I think, idle talk for now about invoking provisions of the 25th Amendment to remove him from office if he doesn't actually react to this, or if there's any kind of information that he's fomenting this violence. But look, so much of this does lay at the hands of the president. These are his supporters. They're carrying his signs. They believe that he is the rightful president, and they believe that in large part because he is telling them that, Aaron.
Rick, we also, as the president-elect was speaking...
Okay, we want to switch gears here. You're listening to live ABC coverage coming out of Washington of the events that are taking place at the U.S. Capitol. We want to bring in Bob Menendez, who is joining us on the 1010 Wins hotline. Can you hear me, sir?
I can, Larry.
Very well. What vantage point are you? Are you there, and what position are you in? First of all, are you safe?
Well, thank you for the question. Yes, I'm safe. Not in a location I can disclose, but I'm safe, and it is our hope that the Capitol Police and other law enforcement entities within the next half hour to an hour will clear the Capitol. And I've urged my colleagues that we should return to a continuation of the session where we will finalize counting the electoral votes. This is a sad day for our democracy. As the senior Democrat on the Foreign Relations Committee, I rail against what's happened here today across the world, and I shed a tear for our democracy today because this is an act of, not of patriotism, but an act of sedition.
Let me ask you, and it's based on what you just stated, and that is that D.C. police and that the D.C. National Guard is coming in. A lot of people are asking, and I'm inclined to ask as well, why were they not in place in the first place in anticipation of this? And particularly since the call went out yesterday for people to converge on the Capitol, sir.
It's a good question that we'll have to ask the Capitol Police, the Sergeant at Arms, and others. Obviously, I don't think that even though they knew there was going to be a large